Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rockers to Doctors. My name is Dorian Prescott.
And I'm Nova Starwick, and we're headbanging with a hypothesis.
In this episode, we are going on a safari.
A safari in hell! Today we'll take our first look at the demons and devils that our favorite metal bands name drop. What are those demons mentioned in metal lyrics? Join us as we take a deep dive into the ancient identities of Asmodeus, Lilith, Mephistopheles, Pazuzu, and more.
Let's test that hypothesis in 3, 2, 1. So when I was a kid, my parents took me over to their friends, the Kiefer's house, and their older sons thought it would be hilarious to prank me with a Ouija board.
Oh no, this is straight out of a supernatural cold open. Ouija boards always mean bad news.
Yeah, this is the first time I had ever used one. And so they told me, they were obviously moving the thing, but they told me we were talking to a demon named Wah, like in a wah pedal. And they allowed me to ask some questions, and what, my priorities back then were baseball. So I asked if the Mets would win the World Series. It said yes. Turns out Wah was right. But that's not important. The important thing is they told me that Wah was sending a demon named Malachi to possess me, and then Malachi would take me to Satan and sacrifice me. I asked, what do you mean by, what's possession? And they explained it literally comes into your body and takes you over. This scared me beyond belief. And so, I was crying. I was at nighttime. I would pray that the Malachi not come and take me away. They had even showed me what Malachi looks like. They went to their album collection, pulled out a record. It was Ozzy Osbourne's Ultimate Sin. Now, if you're familiar with that, see, you're familiar with that album cover, that woman there with her arms stretched out, that was Malachi, and Malachi was coming for me. So yeah, you combine Ouija boards, possession, seeing Ozzy's Ultimate Sin with her on the cover, and suddenly I was convinced that heavy metal music wasn't just scary, it was dangerous. Like, put the record on, bam, instant possession.
Okay, that is both sad and adorable.
Yeah, I was a kid, but eventually I figured it out. Heavy metal is theater. The spikes, the demons, the pyrotechnics, it's all a show. It's theater.
And once you figured that out?
I stopped worrying about possession and started digging through the history. That's actually what led me into demonology, but not as a practitioner, as an academic pursuit. Like 25 years later in graduate school, I took this seriously as something academic.
Let's underline that for the audience. We are not practitioners. No candles, no goats, no blood sacrifices.
Right. We're nerds with books and robes.
And guitars. So tonight we're diving into the abyss to see which demons metal bands keep singing about, who they are, where they come from, and why their names keep echoing in our music. Let's start with a heavy hitter, Asmodeus. If you listen to Cradle of Filth or Deicide, you've heard his name. Ghost even drops him in Year Zero. And if you're me, you ran into him first as a boss monster in Dungeons & Dragons. In fact, in D&D, he rules the 9 hells as a lawyer demon with charisma through the roof. He'll TPK your party with contracts. Also, for you Buffy fans, remember the mayor in Season 3, trading pieces of your soul for power? Straight up Asmodeus vibes.
Most people know him as the Prince of Demons, but here's a twist. In the Jewish tradition, he's called Asmodeus, and he's not exactly a demon the way Christians think of demons. There are all sorts of categories for spiritual entities in Judaism. The Mazikim, which are evil entities that closely resemble modern demons. The Dibikim, the malevolent spirits of the deceased. The Sirium, the Nephilim, and for example, Asmodeus is in the category of the Shadim. The word used in ancient texts for the singular is a shade, but in plural, they're called a shadim.
Okay, define shadim for us.
Well, they're pretty complicated. Just about all demons you've ever heard of are in the shadim category. They're invisible, they eat, they drink, produce, and they can even die. They really, really resent us, and they can hurt us, but they're not pure evil like in a Hollywood demon. They just don't want to be bothered.
So, annoying upstairs neighbors, but with the ability to ruin your life?
Yeah, exactly. Asmodeus' first big story is in the Book of Tobit. He's in love with a woman named Sarah, but whenever she tries to marry, he kills her husband on the wedding night.
That's one way to keep your crush single. Extreme, but effective.
Yeah, well, 7 dead husbands. Finally, Tobias marries Sarah, but only after the angel Raphael steps in. Raphael is Asmodeus' thwarting angel, his natural counter.
I love that term, thwarting angel.
Yeah.
Like an arch nemesis. In Supernatural, Azazel, or Yellow Eyes, was loosely inspired by these Asmodeus-style princes of hell. And if you're a Buffy watcher, think about the Master lurking underground until his big summoning. Same archetype, just recycled for primetime TV.
Right. And Raphael teaches Tobias how to banish Asmodeus using the gall of fish.
What's a gall of fish?
It's the insides, the guts, the intestines, I think.
Oh, okay. So metal bands miss the good part. Fish guts versus demon prince. Tell me that wouldn't make a killer album cover.
Hell yeah. Someone call Iron Maiden. Imagine Eddie splattered with fish gut. But, okay, Asmodeus really takes off in the Testament of Solomon, which is a first century text that's basically the cornerstone of all Western occultism.
That's the one where Solomon gets a magic ring, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's the seal of Solomon. With it, he commands the shading, and he literally uses them to build Solomon's temple.
So, demons built the temple?
Mm-hmm.
That's one hell of a construction crew. Yeah, I got laid off last week. Boss chained me up with a magic ring.
Exactly. As Asmodeus is interrogated, he's chained and pressed into service. And the text even tells us his weakness. Raphael, you guess it, and fish gall.
So, basically, seafood is his kryptonite?
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely correct. Anyway, scholars think that Asmodeus' name came from an old Zoroastrian figure, Ashmadiva, who served the destructive spirit.
Ahriman.
Just don't say that. No.
Ahriman. In D&D, Ahriman inspired parts of the Archdevil primordial lore. And yes, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina drops the name too, but cautiously. Everyone's spooked about saying the big bad's name out loud.
Yeah, some names you just don't say. Ancient cultures believe that speaking a spirit's name could evoke it.
So you're telling me if I chant Ahriman 3 times into a mirror...
And I'll be walking out of this studio.
Fine. But tell me this. How does he go from ancient text to heavy metal lyrics?
Well, he's theatrical. He's got titles. He's got stories of lust, rage, destruction. He crosses Judaism, Christianity, and even Islam. In some Islamic stories, he's even tied to the genie in the bottle.
Wait, you're telling me Christina Aguilera's Genie in a Bottle is secretly about Asmodeus? And speaking of genies, remember I Dream of Jeannie? Imagine if she were Asmodeus instead. Suddenly that laugh track is not so funny.
No, I'm not saying it's not.
Well, that explains the early 2000s cursed decade. All right, let's pivot to Mephistopheles. If Asmodeus is ancient, Mephistopheles is a Renaissance rock star. Ghost sings about him, Trans-Siberian Orchestra has a track, and even Blue Oyster Cult does as well. And yes, Supernatural fans, he's the template for every Crossroads demon. Snappy dresser, 10-year deal, soul comes due, straight from Marlowe to the CW.
And, unlike Asmodeus, Mephistopheles isn't inherited from older religions. He was invented in Europe. His name might come from Hebrew roots meaning destroyer, but his first appearance was in 1587 in Faust book.
Ah, yes, Dr. Faust, the man who thought selling your soul was a good idea.
Right. He trades his soul for magical knowledge and power. Christopher Marlowe makes it theater in Dr. Faustus, which I wrote about in the critical part of my dissertation. Pat myself on the back. Then Gertrude turns it into high art with Faust in the 1800s.
And that's the version where Mephistopheles becomes smooth, charming, and sophisticated.
Yes, he's not a brute. He's a trickster. He's the deal maker.
So basically, Satan with a law degree?
Exactly. That's why metal bands love him. He's temptation personified. He'll give you everything you want, right before the bill comes due.
Metal does love a tragic figure. You can headbang to that. Next, Lilith. You've heard her name in Cradle of Filth's Lilith Immaculate, Typo Negative's Christian Woman, and even in the 90s with the Lilith Fair Festival. Supernatural brought her in as the Season 3 big bad, terrifying child form, creepy smile, and in Buffy, think Drusilla, ethereal, childlike, but deadly. In pop culture, Lilith equals shorthand for scary, powerful woman.
Her roots are ancient, like older than the Bible ancient. She may be depicted on the Burney relief from 1800 BC. Then she shows up in the Epic of Gilgamesh around 600 BC, living in a tree associated with owls.
Owls always get cast as spooky. Poor owls.
Well, in Mesopotamian lore, owls were tied to the spirits of the night. Lilith, or Lamashtu, was thought to prey on infants and pregnant women. Over the centuries, Lamashtu legends merged into Lilith legends.
Lamashtu. Can I say that one? Or okay, Lamashtu?
Lamashtu, yeah.
Lamashtu.
That one's fine.
Okay. And by the time we get to the Bible, Isaiah 34, Lilith's name is there. But later translations swap it for screech owl.
Exactly. Scribes didn't want readers stumbling across demon names, so they just edited them out.
The spiciest story is in rabbinical lore, though. Lilith as Adam's first wife, made from the same clay, equal to him.
But when Adam says, "I'm on top," she says, "Nope, we're equals."
Cue applause. Girl power. In D&D, Lilith often gets folded into succubus lore. And in music, Typo Negative's Christian Woman basically paints her as the anti-Eve.
So what she does is she pronounces God's ineffable name, the name that would later be inscribed on Solomon's ring, sprouts wings, and then she flies off.
So Adam complains to God like a sulky kid or Axl Rose.
And God sends 3 angels, Sinoi, Sensinoi, and Semangeloff, to bring her back. But instead, they make a deal. She won't return, but 100 of her children will die every day. That's why amulets were made with the angels' names, those 3 I just mentioned, to protect newborns.
That's dark, but also explains why she became the archetypal succubus. This is why every DM regrets letting their Warlock PCs cut deals with mysterious demon women. It always goes sideways. Ask Buffy. Every time Angel met one, chaos.
Later traditions pair her with the name. I don't want to pronounce that name.
Samael.
Thank you.
Samael. Samael.
All right.
Samael.
When this is over, you're not. Later tonight, when bad things happen, don't call me. Don't call me. Anyway, later, in later traditions, she's paired with the ultimate big bad. Together, they're like the demonic mirrors of Adam and Eve.
And in the Zohar, she's roaming at night, seducing men, making them sick, draining their strength. Basically, the original goth girlfriend. And yes, in some folk traditions, people still hang amulets in nurseries to ward off Lilith.
Except you don't survive the relationship.
Minor detail. Now, for Lilith's rival, Pazuzu. Most people know him from The Exorcist, But initially, he was a Mesopotamian wind demon. In D&D modules, Pazuzu sometimes shows up as a trickster who gives mortals one free wish. And let me tell you, it always ends badly. Oh, and horror fans, that creepy little statue in a rack at the start of The Exorcist, that's Pazuzu.
Here's the twist. He was invoked for protection. Pregnant women wore Pazuzu amulets to keep him away.
So basically, he's like a bouncer demon. Sorry, Lilith, not tonight.
Exactly. He's terrifying in appearance. Dog face, wings, claws, but useful. He could literally blow other spirits away. He's so evil that Celtic Frost and Morbid Angel give him shoutouts in their music.
Should I read an actual Pazuzu incantation?
Yeah, let's freak people out.
You, mighty one, who ascends the mountains, who faces all the winds, fierce one, raging one, who roars at the world regions, who wrecks the highest mountains, who parches the marshland, who withers its reeds.
Melkon Caviar Abakia Karta.
Pop culture break. This is basically a Slayer intro track and Supernatural's Enochian chants. This is the prototype. Mesopotamian metal lyrics.
See? Scary, but also badass. He's like a cosmic pest control.
And then Hollywood decides, nah, let's just make him the face of possession. Suddenly, Pazuzu is the scariest thing in 1973. Pazuzu is basically the judge from season 2. Ancient, indestructible, and the only way to handle him was explosives. Sometimes modern problems require modern solutions.
He was basically a household name for a decade, then vanished back into obscurity.
Until the internet resurrected him in memes. Apparently, even Labubu toys are possessed by Pazuzu now.
So next time your kids' toys look creepy, blame Mesopotamia.
So tonight we covered Asmodeus, Mephistopheles, Lilith, and Pazuzu. But honestly, we've only scratched the surface. And for D&D players, yes, all these demons have stat blocks. Your players will never forgive you. Buffy fans, half her villains were just Beelzebub remixes with better makeup.
There are more. Beelzebub, Leviathan, Abaddon, Lucifer, Satan, the whole demonic roster.
If you want us to dive into those, drop a comment. Tell us which name you want to hear more about.
Full links and sources are in the show notes. Come back for part 2.
And find us at Rockers to Doctors on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube. Leave a review, tell us if we're nailing it, or if we're off key.
Stay loud, stay curious, headbanging with a hypothesis.